Paul LAPPALA and his wife were good Christian people. In addition to Paul being an outstanding faculty member at Evergreen High School, he was very active in his church. Never knew him personally, but he and his wife decided to go on a mission overseas. And I suppose that our name came up as he made plans to leave, probably with Bill Olson, his fellow teacher at the high school. All I know is that I suddenly find myself being asked, would you and your wife be interested in taking care of our horses, feeding them, and in exchange you can ride them and enjoy them while we are overseas? Well, yeah, that sounded pretty good to country kids. We each had experience with a horse as kids, and we'd be glad to have our children have a chance to ride a horse. So we said fine, and you went down the road there from Evergreen up by the lake and up the road a ways and cut back into the left, and I don't know, went back in, I'm going to guess a mile, maybe 2 miles, and through a gate, and you were in the LAPPALA pasture. And out there in the middle of the field, or upper right of the field, was the haystack and the tack barn. Of course, Paul took me out there and gave me the orientation as to about how much hay to put out and so on. And I'm telling you, one of the impressive things was that he had built an elk-proof container for the hay. He said, boy, those elk, he said, they are tough. You just about can't keep them out of the hay. And he said, you get the hay out where the horses can get to it, but do not ever leave any opening other than the way I've got it set up, or those elk will get in there and take and or destroy all the hay. Okay. So when it was a nice day, on a weekend day, a lot of times after church, or a little time on a Saturday, we'd go up and saddle the horses and ride them. There were 3 of them, beautiful horses, obviously well loved and well taken care of over the years. And nice tack, nice saddles and bridles and so on. One of the horses was a little older, a little heavier, not quite as fast probably as the others, but oh, was she gentle. Even our little Rhonda got to ride on a horse alone on occasion. And what an ideal setting in which to ride horses. You're no houses, surrounded by trees and meadows. We never really rode the horses anywhere except there on LAPPALA's property. There was the one time that the 2 boys and I were going to ride them out and go on up on the side of the Evans Range, the Evans Mountain, to hunt deer with a bow, with bows, and never got out of the place because we had too much fun with game on the place. Great experience. There was only one little glitch in it. Somewhere well into the time frame that the LAPPALAs would be gone, got a letter from them saying that they thought they'd maybe better arrange to have somebody else take care of the horses. They'd heard a complaint that we were abusing the horses. I have no idea where that came from or on what basis it would have come from. But I'm pretty sure of one thing, that the only thing that somebody might have seen that they thought was abusing the horses is that, yeah, we gallop the horses pretty good at times. I don't think that hurts them. I think it's good for them. And somebody must have driven up and thought, well, they're pushing them too hard. They're abusing the horses. We would invite the Olsons to go up with us times to ride with, take turns riding. And our friends, the Schylers, would come up with their 2 children from Denver occasionally, and they would ride. But, in 90%, 95% of the time, it would just be us and our kids. So it was a delightful experience, and when my letter went back to the LAPPALAs, the letter came back okay, but do be sure you treat our horses well. Of course, we thought we had, and we certainly meant to, and continue to. But it was one of the most pleasant experiences of our time in Evergreen. Beautiful horses, beautiful area. And oh, by the way, saw more elk going to and from that pasture. I'd never really seen elk up close. One time when I went out alone to feed, a whole herd of elk came away from the, even though they couldn't get at the hay, boy, they were up there looking at little pieces around it, and mouths watering. I parked the car and walked with the elk. They didn't let me get real close, but I walked with the elk, I suppose, for 20, 30 minutes, might have covered a mile or more. Never really amongst them, but always close to them, and in some ways amongst them, because some of them would pan out to the side and let me go on through. They figured out pretty quick I was harmless, but it was a thrill to be in nature and be that close to these magnificent animals.